Did KD going to the Warriors? Do you guys look at that as KD saving Steph's career or Steph saving KD's career?
It's definitely more Steph saving KD's career. 100%. I don't even think that's debatable. Kate
Elaborate.
Steph won before KD. He won after KD,
I
and
don't
KD
know.
didn't win either or. So like, what more is there to say?
Because if
It speaks for
you
itself.
could look at it honestly, you could look at it like Steph's career wasn't saved until he won this Finals MVP against Boston. Truly, Cats would say that truly. Like, yeah, Steph is Steph, but there's always that thing, oh, he never won Finals MVP. So for him not to win Finals MVP, lose against Braun, and then KD comes and wins back to back MVP Finals MVP, it was like, okay, maybe I'm not really that guy. And then winning against Boston, he was like, okay, I am. But I mean, I would,
That's what for sure fully stamped him. Yeah.
yeah, because truthfully, like KD had already had KD. I mean, Steph already had his MVPs for sure, but KD had his MVP. KD had been to the finals. KD's KD. Like KD would never take that away from him. But I mean, to say that as saved him, I don't know, because Steph for sure was looking kind of shaky there for a second.
Listen, bro.
Just because Kyrie, because they were saying like Kyrie's creeping. Kyrie hit that shot over Steph. Maybe Kyrie's the guy. Maybe Kyrie's the number one, the 1A point guard of this generation.
And
KD,
that
think
2017 year, niggas was
about it.
showing ESPN was showing graphics of Kyrie or Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
I don't forget that.
Think about it.
Kyrie or Isaiah Thomas, who's the best point guard in the game?
KD doesn't go to the Warriors, but Golden State versus Cleveland one more time.
We
Who's
all
sitting?
know what was gonna happen. We all know what was about to happen if Kevin Durant never went to the Warriors. So we all know that Braun would
Brown would
probably,
have six, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah,
Golden
but
we all
State
know
wouldn't
that,
even be a thing.
yes,
exactly.
Braun
So
would have
like
six.
KD can look
The
safe.
the Minnesota Timberwolves today would be a completely different team. Pretty much KD going to the Warriors kind
To
of
the
forced,
Minnesota Timberwolves.
yeah, they'd be a different team because to combat that, they tried to build that super team with Jimmy Butler and Andrew Wiggins, and who else did
Oh,
they have? Cat. Yeah, and then that
they
kind of
didn't have Wiggins no more. They Wiggins or did they?
Yeah,
they had Wiggins.
Jimmy Butler played with Wiggins. Yeah,
Yeah, Wiggins and Cat, and they tried everyone's it was a super team era. Niggas tried to get three,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
then it
yeah.
turned into, yeah, so it kind of brought the competition up of the league where at least 10 teams got better. And KD going to the Warriors kind of changed the trajectory of the NBA. Now we're back to the two-man game where you got two superstars and a real deep roster. But yeah, I feel like this is a no-brainer where KD kind of saved Steph's legacy. At the end of the day, KD was still going to be known as one of the greatest scorers ever. And if he would have went anywhere legitimate, I don't think the Warriors is the only place he could have won a ring eventually.
I
But
agree.
I know
Maybe.
that he was the only human being on the planet who could have joined that team and beat LeBron James the way they did. So that's where I'm saying like we all saw the writing on the wall. Steph, if you guys in the 73-9 year up 3-1 wasn't going to get it done and you let him figure it out like that with Kyrie, it was never they were never beating him again.
My thing with that though is like we don't really like hold those two rings that Steph won with KD
What do you mean? People in the
like they don't
comments,
really they
people
don't
in the comments on the last video, Steph is a four-time champion.
oh I
Steph
know
is
but
a four-time champion. They
they
don't say
don't
Steph is
hold
a
the
two-time
same
champion.
right but they don't hold the same weight that his other rings do. And
Yes,
so
they do. Yes, they
regardless
do. Because you just said, bro, you just said Steph won rings before and after KD. So you kind of just glossed over those like it was gonna happen regardless.
well it did.
But that does not happen if they don't win those two. They don't keep that team together like that if
The
they
one
keep getting their ass
before
kicked
already
in by
happened
LeBron.
regard the one before happened.
The
Yeah,
one
but think about
before
it.
we know
They
that was a
lost in
kneecap
between
ring.
that though.
The one before
They,
was a kneecap ring. Everybody got hurt.
You
and they
could do. I
lost.
mean,
They
the thing
lost
about
in
that though
Every
is you can do
me and
that for
you could
almost.
have
You can
played.
do that for almost any season though. You could
No,
say
you
there was an
can't. You can't
injury.
do that. You
I
can't do that
promise
for
you.
you can't do that for the 73-9 season.
because
Draymond got
they,
suspended.
they
You threw up
lost. They
3-1.
lost.
Take that home.
Yeah, but
Draymond got
he
suspended. You
played
can
2 games
kneecap
after that.
that.
He played
You
two
up
games
three
after
one.
that point. He played 2 games after that.
He did, but that game 5 was the one that they was really gonna close. Like they had it,
Okay, well, if it was game 5, you should
and
have
it was
swept
at
them in
home,
4.
huh?
If it was game 5, why don't you sweep them in 4 then?
I mean, it's not that simple. I'm just saying at the end of the day, like you can't say the kneecap thing. Like you can do that for almost any season. There's injuries in every season.
Listen,
Is
bro.
the
Listen,
playoffs is
dog.
always a war
Hey,
of attrition.
a player getting kicked out of a game for kicking someone in the groin is totally different than my second best player's kneecap falling off and my third best player shoulder falling off. What are you talking? What are we talking
No,
about
I
here?
understand that. I'm not comparing the level of kneecap or the level of asterisk if you want to put on it. I'm just saying that there's always something that happens that affects the who wins the title in one way or another, whether it's a major effect or a minor effect. Like there's always something that you can point to that like at the end of the day, bro, to win an NBA championship, you need luck in some facet. Like you need your guys to stay healthy. You need like whether that's other teams that may be more talented than you or whatnot. Like things have to go your way in order for you to win a championship. That's just how it goes. Like that's like the best, most talented team doesn't always win the championship. Like we've seen that time and time again.
But we've seen when the best, most talented team stays healthy, they easily win the championship, just like the Warriors did with Kevin Durant. So like I don't want to hear it, bro. Cause yeah. So I'm gonna ask you this question. If Kevin Durant never goes to the Warriors, is it a better chance that Steph Curry has 1 ring sitting here today or 4?
1.
He would have 2 still.
How?
He won when KD wasn't
That's not the
there.
same
Yeah,
team. No, they're breaking that team up.
yeah, they're breaking the team up.
There's no Warriors dynasty.
Yeah,
There's no Warriors dynasty.
why would they break
Keaton,
up Clay? Why would Clay and Draymond not be there all of a
Keaton,
sudden?
you're forgetting the fact that they
Hey,
lost
yo,
2016.
they
They
almost
lost.
lost to KD and Russ.
They were down 3-1 to KD and Russ.
Right, but they wasn't going. Even if they lost that series, they're not going to break them up. They're not going to
They
break a
wouldn't have wanted to
73.
see them again. Would you
But
have
they not
wanted to
break
see
it.
them again?
But you would
But
never.
also too, they
But
wouldn't be able to, they wouldn't pay all those guys all that money to
To keep getting
lose.
their ass kicked in.
But why are we assuming that they would lose? I don't
But they
understand.
lost. They did lose. They lost in 2016.
Right, they did,
And
but
did you
then
So
see how
all
the
Cody,
I
so
Cavs
don't
Cody,
looked in
I
2017?
don't know why. But why would all of a sudden just because they lost that season would they not be a contender going into the following seasons? They were
100%.
a 73
But
win team. They would still very easily just have as good of a chance to win a
Would you have
championship as they did the
okay?
previous
Would you
season.
think if they have beaten the 2017 Cavs with Harrison Barnes instead of Kevin Durant?
You don't know what other moves. If you want to say they have the same exact roster, I would probably still take the Cavs. But I don't think the Cavs just dog walk them. Like it's still a very competitive series.
yeah, but I mean, we're just saying four compared to the, I think.
I definitely think he has at least one more because he's shown that he won without him, and Andrew Wiggins was his second best player during that final that
Hey,
championship
bro.
run.
Listen, dog. Listen, bro. Come on,
Jordan
dog.
Poole was the third
Come on,
option.
bro. Come
I
on,
mean
bro. Ain't nobody even talking about
those are
that
solid
spoon-fed
players,
finals,
but
bro.
huh?
That's fine. That finals was Gerber, bro. Spoon-fed. That was a spoon-fed finals. They had to give him that one.
I mean,
You seen what the Celtics rolled
a
out
lot
there
of
with, bro?
that was still a good Celtics team. I mean, at the end of the day, they were good. I mean, like comparatively to what the LeBron Cavs, they're not as good, but at the end of the day, you can only play who's in front of you. Like that's not Steph's fault.
That's true.
Yeah, but my whole thing is that like that not only changed like that next season, but that changed the trajectory of NBA history, and I think the way that the game is played today, and just the structure of teams. So who knows
I would.
exactly?
Sorry, go ahead, finish your thought.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just was going back to the original point. I think Steph saved KD's career more than a lot, undoubtedly more than KD saved Steph's career because at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you don't know. You can say KD would have probably won one or whatnot, but at the end of the day, we don't know. We don't know. But what we do know is that Steph already had one. And so Steph was for sure undoubtedly more stamped than KD was before KD got to Golden State because Steph
Steph was
had
more stamped than
back-to-back.
KD.
Yes, Steph had a ring and he had back-to-back MVPs.
KD was the best player on those teams, bro.
But I'm
Anybody
saying
with eyes could have saw that. What do you mean more stamped? How you more stamped to me? I'm the best player. I'll get on your team.
Steph won the MVPs before KD got there. That's what I'm talking about.
Steph
Before
won
KD
unanimous
got to Golden
MVP.
State, Steph had a more
Was he?
legendary. He was more legendary than KD.
Was he? Was okay? No. Was when Steph won
Wow.
the unanimous MVP? Was he better than LeBron James?
He was not to me, but he
Was
damn near was like he was right there with LeBron. He was right there with LeBron, and KD wasn't. KD was not on Steph's level that season. No, not at
2016?
all.
We're talking a 29, 30. How old was LeBron? 31, 32.
No, LeBron was still the best player to me for sure. I'm not saying he wasn't, but
Then
I'm
what do
saying
we
Steph
mean?
was
Was he
second.
right there with him? There was nobody
I
right there with
mean,
LeBron.
that season, Steph was that was one of the greatest individual seasons I can ever remember, and LeBron overall is the greatest basketball player ever. But I can't just discount the fact that, um, what he was doing and what he was doing on a night in night out basis. And I'll never forget that game against OKC when he hit that game winner from just inside half court, and I think he had like 11 or 12 threes that game. I mean, those are just things that like we're not going to see again, and like.
No, that was cute. Yeah, that was a good regular season game. Good, a good one.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know how you can say KD was more stamped than Steph before KD got to Golden State because KD had no rings and he had less MVPs. So
Well, yeah.
in what sense was KD more stamped?
Well, because Kevin Durant was a better player than Steph Curry, and he got on his team and was the best player on that team.
Right, but being a great player alone, being a doesn't get you isn't what gets you stamped, and we have numerous examples that we can talk about. Literally, we were just talking about Damian Lillard all this time about how he feels like he's this and that. Damian Lillard is undoubtedly one of the most talented basketball players to ever step foot on an NBA court, but that alone like doesn't stamp you. Like,
I understand, bro, but I think a better comparison would be kind of what we talked about with Melo. Kevin Durant, the difference you look at Kevin Durant by that point was already one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen.
mhm.
100%. Yeah, there's no, he's the most one of the most unstoppable scorers to ever humans to ever pick up a basketball. So I don't think really that him winning the championship there would really have changed that for us, the way we look at him, as much as it boosts who Steph is. Because now Steph
I
is arguably the best point guard ever.
I
Yeah.
just think it's tough because KD has never won a championship still to this day in 2024, where he's been the true alpha. Like, undoubtedly, it is Kevin Durant's team. You can say when it was KD and Steph, like KD might have been slightly better, whatever. You can make that argument, but you can't sit there and say that was Kevin Durant's team. Even if he won the Finals MVP, like
Well, yeah,
obviously
Twice,
it
that
two
couldn't have been.
times in a row, he won it.
Yeah, it couldn't have been
he did,
Katie's
but it
team
was
though because
not
he
it was
came to
not
that
Kevin
team.
Durant's team.
I agree.
And
It
then
wasn't
when
Katie's
Kevin Durant didn't play, they lost.
They did, but then they damn near would have. If Clay didn't tear his ACL, they damn near might win that series. And let's not forget, before Kevin Durant joined the Warriors, he blew a 3-1 lead himself. He had that. You supposed to win that series. Like you talking about the same thing. You're the best player on the court. You're gonna do all this stuff about Steph Curry, like this and that when he didn't win
Who
that day.
was his
Like
running mate?
Kevin Durant, huh?
Who was his running mate?
I mean, bro, you're up. It was good enough to get him up 3-1, was it not?
Come on, bro.
Couldn't
We
get
all
you
know.
couldn't get one. You
Come
couldn't
on,
get
bro.
one. You couldn't give me 35 or 40 in one of those last three games and
That's
put the
tough to
team on your back.
overcome. Tough to overcome. History shown. Hard to
I
overcome.
don't know. I think they had. If you pull up those last three games of that series, Kevin Durant was not good in those last three games, and that was a lot of the narrative. And like at the end of the day, like even early on, Kevin Durant he had James Harden, he had Russell Westbrook. Obviously, Russell Westbrook. At the end of the day, like Russell Westbrook, you can say a lot of different things, but prime Russell Westbrook is undeniable. Like he was a great player. Obviously, he had his flaws and whatnot, but those teams were good enough to be consistent playoff teams, consistent high seeds. And for whatever reason, like those teams just never really got over the hump. And the talent was there. Um, I mean, you have Kevin Durant, who is a borderline top 10 player of all time. And so I don't know. For me, like how I can't just stamp him over Steph and say his legacy was better than Steph or anything when he's never when he's never been that guy on the championship team where it was his team undisputably. And we've seen Steph do that twice now. Once before Katie was there, and then once again when Katie was not there.
Okay. I hear you on that. I just the biggest part where we disagree is that on those teams where they played together and Kevin Durant won both finals MVPs, that he wasn't the best player on the team.